Today on Shamrock's Garage, I'm gonna show you how to make some custom hoses. Oh yeah, babe. All right guys, welcome to Shamrock's Garage. Today we're gonna be making some custom hoses. These braided hoses using these AN fittings. This is an AN6 fitting. These look really clean. You can use them for everything from fuel, transmission line, oil lines, just a real clean look and a real secure look, which is, safety is key, right? Special tools that you're gonna need. You're definitely gonna need a vise. Gotta have a vise to do this. You're gonna wanna have these aluminum inserts so you don't scratch up your fittings. And I also like to have these aluminum adjustable wrench. So you don't scratch up your fittings. All right, so let's just get started here. Measure your hose, obviously, whatever size hose you're gonna need. You're gonna wanna wrap your hose in tape. And I got gloves on, so it's hard to do. Let's see if I can, oh. Give me a second, trying to get the end of the tape off when I'm with gloves on, so that's always a challenge. All right, so say we measure it to there. You can see where I've already cut one. But you're gonna wanna put your tape right in the middle of the section where you're gonna cut it at. And what that's gonna do is gonna keep all the little strands from your covering here from fraying and going crazy. So you're gonna put this right in the middle. It's got a nice little tube there. You put it right in the middle. Get as close to the edge as possible so you have it secure in there. So we're gonna wanna cut that right on that, in the middle of that, say. That's just our imaginary cut line. This is just a scrap piece of hose I had laying around. Now to cut it, you can use a hacksaw. I've used a die grinder with a cutoff wheel on it. I'm just gonna use an air saw to do this, just to speed it up, but this would be the same thing as using a hacksaw. And we're just gonna cut right down the middle here. When you get to the end, it's always gonna wanna bend over on you like that. So I just grab it. Hopefully you can see without my arm in the way. Try to hold it steady. Obviously watch your fingers. And that gives you a nice clean cut. And your key, oh, hit the camera. You wanna keep it nice and clean so you keep that nice and round in there. All right, so now I'm gonna take my gloves off again so I can take that tape off. So we're just gonna peel that tape off. Now you have various fittings. I'm gonna put a straight one on today, but I mean, they got 90s, they got 45s, they got all kind of different fittings, just whatever's gonna work for your application. Trying to work with gloves on here. All right, so you're just gonna unscrew the fitting. One side just, on this particular one, just pivots. This side threads off. And you're gonna try to thread this into here. Now you see, actually I just noticed that I have some wires sticking up there, so I'm gonna trim those off just so they're not in the way. Okay. So we want to make sure this is nice and clean. You can also get a pair of scissors and cut off these little stray strands here. Okay. Now you're going to try to get this, the threaded side, it only can go one way, obviously that small side. Hopefully you can see that. It's not going to go on there, it's the bigger side. It's actually going to thread on. So you're trying to get all those strands inside that little flared area, and you're going to start this by hand. Okay, so you're just going to start threading this on there. This is probably the hardest part of the whole install right here, is getting that fitting to thread into there. You're applying pressure down, pushing it towards the hose, and spinning it just to get it started. And once you get it started, then you're going to chalk this in the vise. This is where you have to have this vise, because you got to press pretty hard, and you're going to press in and thread it in at the same time. So press in and thread it, trying to keep it square as possible. And you're going to keep going. And you'll pull it out periodically and check it. Your goal is, there's a little, where the threads end inside there. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up. But where the threads end inside there, you want to take the end of the hose all the way to there. So I got a little ways to go. So let me get it back in the vise. And there we are, we're good. I don't know if you can see that, but the rubber of the hose is all the way up against that stop that's in there. Actually, no, it's not. These go about another couple millimeters. Well, just take your time here. This is an important step, but it's, like I said, the most difficult part of it, which isn't hard. You can see how this aluminum block prevents you from scratching up. If you were just to put this right in the vise, it would be all boogered up by now. Now it's nice and flush in there. All right, so once you get to that point, you're gonna wanna take some tape and put it right at the end where the fitting and the hose come together. Okay, this one layer is fine. Keep hitting the camera, sorry about that. So as you see, right where the fitting and the hose join, and why you want to do that is when you go to thread this part in there, this can lift up off the hose. This is basically marking your place. Hopefully you're able to see that, just look at the camera. This is marking your place to where when you thread this in, the end of this isn't pressing against the hose and lifting the fitting off of the hose. Your hose is staying completely, your fitting is staying on the hose completely, is what I'm trying to say. So what you want to do also, on here, you want to put a little bit of lube. Let me grab a little bit of lube. And I'm just going to use some assembly lube. So put your little dab right there. Going to work that around. Let me wipe that off. Hang on one second. Just wiping off my finger. And now you're going to take this, stick it inside here, and you're going to start to thread it down. And again, you're applying pressure in both directions. And sometimes it'll start easy, sometimes, like it's doing now, it's going to want to be hard. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in the vise. Okay, and now I can, I can push this down and try to get it threaded at the same time. Okay, threads are starting, I can feel them. And you're gonna get your adjustable wrench, put it on here. And again, apply pressure down and thread it in there. Now what I'm doing periodically, I'm taking a peek over here to make sure that my white tape and that fitting are in the same position as it was when I put it in the vise. It's not trying to push the hose out. And actually, this is a perfect scenario. It is trying to push the hose out. So that's when we stop. See how we have a gap there now? That's not good. So we're gonna take this back out. And this will happen on occasion. We'll take this guy back out. Stick this back in the vise and thread it back in where that white tape is at the base of your fitting. And we're going to try to figure out why it did that. Sometimes what I'll do, I'll take a screwdriver and just kind of center up the tube and the fitting. Just trying to get it perfectly square in there. That looks better. So now we'll try to take this, and that's probably why I couldn't start it by hand. Typically you can get it started by hand, and now it's starting by hand. So I think we're gonna have better luck this time. So we're gonna chalk this back in here. And see how she looks. Sometimes you can hold up on the hose as you're threading it down. Still looking good. I'm keeping an eye on my gap there. Now right here, I'm almost to where these two are going to come together. I try to put the very edge of my adjustable wrench on there. If not, it'll booger up as you're turning this nut. It's going to booger up your fitting a little bit. Try to put it right on that edge. And keep going with it until it tightens up. You don't gotta go crazy with it, it's just aluminum threads, but it's tight right there. You can see my gap is still good on the tape and the fitting. And then I can take this tape off and you'll see the finished result. And the finished result is a nice clean fitting that should last you a long time. And again, these are good for transmission lines, fuel lines. What else have I used these for? This is on transmission line I'm doing on this truck. Coolant lines, oil coolant lines, a number of things. They're great, they look clean, they look professional. And for a few dollars in tools, you can do them in your shop at your house. So I hope this helps. I appreciate you watching. Thank you.